So here we are back in Unity, and I've got my scenes here all set up. So my main screen with a Play AR button and a Library button, my Library screen, Play AR and Home, my AR camera screen with a Library and Home button. Okay, obviously all ready to go back and forth and so on. It's worth mentioning that my Home button is actually my main screen, so I might change that Home button just to match that there. Okay, but obviously your logic can follow suit for however you design your app. Okay, so what we're going to do is later on we'll put in the functionality of our augmented reality stuff happening, and these buttons might change from here, but just for this scenario we're going to get it so that when we play our app we can click through the various buttons and navigate to each screen. So I'm going to do that by first of all setting up my scenes within Unity correctly. Okay, so if I choose File, Build Settings, you'll see that around all these other settings, there's this panel at the top here. Now this is Scenes in Build, and you can see that it says Add Open Scenes. Click that button and you'll see Scenes Main Screen has been added. So we want to add Library Screen and AR Camera Screen to this as well. So just double click on them and open them up and click Add Open Scene. Same for AR Camera, Add Open Scene. Okay, and what we're doing is we're actually putting these into a queue. And it's important to register and look at the number that's associated with each scene in my build settings, because this is important when you develop something for an application. You'll see that the number sequence also starts at 0. That's an important thing to note. It's just a programming terminology. It's a standard thing within programming. So my main screen is number 0, library screen is number 1, and AR camera screen is number 2. With that done, we can close it, and I just want to choose File, Save Project. I'm then going to go back to my main screen here, and what I really want to do is actually put in some code that will let us navigate through these buttons. To do that, I need to create an object to put some code onto. So again, I'm going to choose Game Object, and this time I'm going to make an empty object. I'm going to actually call this one Button Code. Okay, so this is an empty game object I'm going to apply a script to. So in my scripts folder here, I'm going to right click and choose Create, C# script, and I'm going to call this Scenes Click. Open this up, and I'm just going to copy some previous code that we've used into my new Scenes Click file here. So selecting everything, I'm going to paste in that code, Scenes Click, matching up, press play, do a test, and it will also save our file. Okay, so if I look at this, you can see in my code we're using something called UnityEngine.SceneManagement. Okay, there's a class called Scenes Click, and what we're going to do is load by index. So we're going to load our scene. So a load index or a scene index is just like the contents page of a book. It loads different chapters and remembers the page they are on. We're just loading this up, and a scene number starts at 0, so we're going to add 1, 2, 3, etc. We'll take away 1, 2, 3 to each one we're working with here. Okay, so I'm just going to save that there. Back in Unity, and find my button code object. I'm going to click and drag my script onto there. Okay, so button code has my Scenes Click script onto it. Then save. So what I want to do as well now is I can select one of these buttons like Play AR, and on my on click here, click the plus down the bottom. Okay, that's going to choose this little setting, and I can actually click and drag my button code game object into that box down the bottom. From the Note function menu, you can actually choose the custom script that's assigned to that object. So Scenes Click is what I want, and then I want to go down and select Load by Index. Okay, so what that's really doing is you're saying when you click on this button, it's going to go to the scene that has the correct number associated with it. So in this instance, okay, I need to double check what number my build settings are for each scene. So go to File, Build Settings. You can see that main screen is 0, library is 1, AR camera is 2. Okay, so if I want my Play AR button to go across to my Play AR scene, then I know that I need it to be set to number 2, like so. Okay, so click on the button, set to number 2, we'll go to the AR camera screen. I can repeat this for my library button as well, press plus, click and drag my button code object in here, choose my Scenes Click option and load by index, And again, for library, I know this is set to 1. Okay, so home screen was 0, library was 1, AR screen was 2. Okay, so it's just a matter of repeating that process as we go through each scene. Okay, but the main thing you'll need to do first is again to duplicate your button code object. Okay, so just duplicate that. Alright, you can click and drag your library scene in, move it down like so, save that, and then you can also close or unload your main screen. Oops, sorry, not unload, remove it. Okay, so button code is here, click on play AR. Alright, I'm going to drag, oops, click on my play AR button, click the plus, drag my button code object in here, choose scenes, click, load by index, and again set the number. Okay, so 2 for the AR camera, 0 for the main home screen this time. So plus, button code, scenes click, load by index integer, and again it's 0 for the main screen or the home screen. Okay, so just repeat that, and when you have it working, okay, one more here. Okay, so with my final one here, AR camera screen, I've got button code, click on library, drag in button code. Once I click plus, oops, button code like so, choose scenes click, load by index. Okay, so library is going to be 1, and clicking on home now, plus, button code, scenes click, load by index, home is going to be 0. Okay, so now if I navigate back to home screen scene or my main screen scene, press play here, it will display the full iPad app with our user interface set up, our basic user interface, and you can click on these buttons. So we're in 0 here, so you can press play AR, and that will go to our AR camera, which is 2. Okay, so just repeat that process, and we can obviously finish off there.